Here it is, a groove slightly transformed like this. Here it is.
Oh, it is 7 o'clock on a Monday evening. Welcome in, everyone, to your radio and video show that is dedicated to going inside all the hard-hitting news action of all of Oconee County has to offer. And believe me, Oconee has a whole lot to offer tonight in the way of news and information. Hi, everyone. I'm Jazzy Jeff, along with my broadcast crew, including Cathy Littleton, Rannie Bond, and also to Ruin over here. Good Lord, what in the heck are you wearing over there?
Hey, man, I can't help but find no style.
Yeah, boy, that's style, all right. And, Randy, will you like to introduce our other special guest that we have with us in the studio?
I sure would. All the way from the great state of Texas, we have Peyton.
Well, hello, Peyton. Wave at the camera, Peyton. There's See, there, look at her
Welcome,
waving.
Peyton.
Welcome. We're glad to have you along here with us this evening. And first of all, we want to jump right into a lot of information. But first, we want to do a little final wrap-up. Last night, our very own Cathy Littleton. I'm going to give you credit. You did a great job last night with the get-together with Thomas. And let's go ahead and have a little recap about that last night.
Well, I think we had a pretty decent turnout. We had over 20 people show up, and I don't know how many. You'll have to tell me how many we had online. But
we were up to over 300 and something views as of a couple of hours ago when I looked. So yeah, we had about over 300 something views.
that's great. That is absolutely wonderful. That's all we could ask for. So yeah, it was wonderful. I enjoyed it. He is great to talk to. I don't think that could have gone any better then, you know?
No, it really was. It was a very informative get-together last night, learning a little bit about, and there's a lot of stigmatism when it comes to autism. A lot of people don't understand or don't know a lot. And last night, he kind of put a little bit of perspective, just how things are and, you know, how it operates and what's going on. So I was impressed with it last night.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that was the best part. A lot of times, all we know about autism is what somebody's told us or what we see, but we don't know anything about how they're feeling while that's going on. And he was able to articulate, hey, when I was a kid and I was sitting there rocking in the corner, being socially awkward, and you know, he was able to tell us what he was thinking and what was going on. And I think the more people that get exposed to interactions like that, the better off society will be.
Right. And you know what? I'll say I learned a lot last night, but I also want to make sure, and everybody in here knows it, that Cathy put a lot of time into coordinating this, and she had a lot of challenges getting space and getting things coordinated and scheduled and all that. So that's a big shout out to Cathy based on the dedication that what she brought to the community.
Absolutely. Chris, I want to go to you next because in the coming weeks, we're going to keep on with some of the themes that we're doing here. We want to highlight a lot of activities, a lot of things that are happening far as the other side, so to speak, of things that are going on in people's lives. And Chris, you have stepped up to plate to take over something I think will be an added bonus to the show. Can you explain what you're going to be doing?
I want to give a thanks to Jeff because Jeff has given me a lot of input. I brought it to him. He didn't laugh. He knew I was very compassionate about it, and he's supporting it under the umbrella Let's Talk Oconee 100%. So I want to thank Jeff. But what I want to do is we're going to have it's going to be a series. It's not going to be every single week, but it's going to be a series of interviews, and it's going to be called Walk a Mile with Chris. And everybody knows I have a real passion. I know how I can get going for, you know, diversity, challenges of different people, religions. I mean, you know, domestic violence. So what we're going to do
for domestic violence?
Oh, geez.
wrong pig-headed guy. Sorry.
No. You know what?
Sorry.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do our interviews, and then we're going to release one a week. And the interviews are basically going to talk about challenges, some of the things we're seeing today. You know, when we look at diversity and what we're seeing culturally, what's changing, and some of the violence, and what does it mean to you personally from the perspective as a family. And that's not going to be me talking. It's going to be me very heartfelt. I want people to feel comfortable to talk about it, because people watching this are going to understand. You know what's really shocking to me? They don't look like me. They don't believe in Christianity. Maybe not. They might be gay. It doesn't matter. But what's really weird is they have the same fears that I do, and they really sound to me like they're just regular Americans like we all are. And that's perspective that we'll give. And I promise you, it's not going to be any gotcha questions. It's just going to be some honest dialogue with friends. And it's a way that I'm going to be able to walk, and I need to understand.
You're basically, the premise of everything is going to be a conversation about issues and things that everyone is facing as Americans. And you're just going to bring it to the forefront with a honest sit down and have that conversation, a one-on-one conversation.
And have their perspective, things that, you know, the way I live that I probably don't understand, but I'm willing to understand, because that's what we all need, is more empathy in the community for everybody.
I think it's a good idea.
I really do. I feel like that is something that is going to benefit everybody. And Chris, I hope that you take the opportunity for some of that, maybe to interview me about my naked pickleball career.
Really?
I think there's a lot of people out there that'll be very interesting.
Well, I'm just thankful it was not you in the picture that's on Let's Talk Oconee, of the gentleman or the lady, whichever it may be, that stopped traffic in the middle of 285 over the weekend. And if you have not seen the picture, it's there for your listening or viewing pleasure, but do be very careful.
I got to tell you, though,
I'm not sure what it is.
I tell you, they look like a healthy set of competition for this old boy. So if you could reach out and get them on the court, I'll meet you there.
You know what? I tell you what, I'll think about it if you promise to wear a towel with suspenders.
During the naked pickleball.
No, I'm not going to do that, because well, I don't know. Can we do that on the web? The World
Sure.
Wide Web?
Maybe have to.
We're going to set Chris up an OnlyFans account.
Randy's the one with the OnlyFans, not me.
Maybe we just call it "Let's Talk Oconee After Dark." We can get some horses, some furries, some bacon.
Oh man! All right. Depends on what kind of hats I can wear. All right. We'll talk
what
about
the world is that?
But hey, reeling it. Oh, that doesn't even scare me. What is this? Well,
Furry friends, lend me your ears.
Let me see that.
Here.
Doesn't it?
Use your cross. Use your cross.
What? Oh, that doesn't even scare me. What are you? Oh God! Oh my God in heaven! Oh, Randy, quit that. I can't take you to my.
Excuse me just a moment.
Democrat repellent.
Excuse me just a moment. Let me talk to my fearless leader. I'm not worthy.
Oh,
I'm not worthy.
Oh my Lord! He's that Mooney guy. I can't see who it is. Was it that Mooney guy? No. Oh Lord have mercy.
I tell you what.
That's the Reverend Right Lovejoy Purry.
I can still hear the people in Oakway rejoicing that he's in Mountain Rest now.
Can you believe that?
And all of Oakway is all happy right now.
Church bells ringing, birds singing.
Squirrels burying their nuts.
All I know is that they bury their nuts to store their food.
There.
Oh, great, Chris. Great. My wife just texted. She says, WTH, does she mean you have an OnlyFans account? I don't have an OnlyFans account, but I do have a lot of bills to pay. When the bills go
Sorry,
away, then
Lindsay.
you probably should worry.
Sorry, Lindsay. You know what Randy's like.
Yeah. Anyway, Randy, I'm going to get to you real quick. You're involved in something fun that's been going on this past weekend. You had a bunch of food trucks up in your neck of the woods.
Well,
It turned out to be a great weekend.
So we did. We had our first food truck, and hopefully, if things work out, the only one. Great people, Eric and Belle. They came up and brought some food up to Mountain Rest. We had a good time. They were out there all day on Saturday. The parking lot seemed to stay full, and everybody I talked to seemed to really, really appreciate their food. I thought it was good. They sold out of chicken wings extremely early, so I didn't even get to have one. But if they can sell out of chicken wings in the first hour, they either need to bring more or you guys need to get there faster.
Well, not only that, when I was looking at the pictures, you had a lot of people showing up.
Yeah, oh, it was tremendous turnout. But it was phenomenal, and I think as word gets out that more and more people will show up. So I if you live on the mountain and you want some good food, every weekend I think they're going to be out there.
You know, there were a lot more people lining up with that food truck than there ever was at that podcast thing that was a while back. You know that one that,
But,
you know, the LC podcast.
Well,
I'm a real conservative, and
well, some folks. I mean, they but you know, I was talking to Eric, and hopefully he's listening to hears this. I'm really excited about the opportunity to work with those guys. And earlier we were talking about we're talking about doing a farm to table type thing where maybe we have local farmers grow the lettuce and potatoes for the fries and things like that. Maybe even get some local beef for the burgers. So I'm excited to keep this thing as absolute local as possible with the highest quality that we can give. So I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, we were kicking some ideas around. You know, I mean, there's nobody that makes better brisket than Rannie and black eyed peas and things like that. So,
well, I don't want to cook. I want to celebrate the fact that they're
know.
there and they're doing great things for the community. So.
Well, yeah, but as your life coach, I think there are some things I could add and help you out a little
Well,
bit.
yeah, you got me on OnlyFans account now. My wife's calling you, and yeah, some life coach you are. Thanks a lot.
I'll quit doing that. It makes my ears wiggle.
So,
Well, since we're having this conversation about OnlyFans, I wonder if Oconee's going to have to go that route. You know, we got the
pay for
budget.
sewer.
Yeah.
I can just see it now. All the county councils got their OnlyFans club to raise money for the county sewer system. Julian, show me some leg, baby.
You know what? The 200
They're gonna go broke.
people that show up every week. Oh yeah, right. You know, I don't know what to say.
I don't even know where to go from that one because I just had a visual picture of all of them on camera. Look at me.
Well, that's
I'm
our
Matt
friend.
Durham and I'm on OnlyFans. Holy cow. Get me somebody help me, please.
But
Could
you imagine like maybe we should do that. We should create like some of these, what's that, Bumble or Tinder or something like that. We could like swipe left and right and
well, you're the bee.
but the thing is what are we gonna do if we swipe across one of them fellas? Oh my god.
I don't know I'll probably scream louder than I did when I saw that picture.
But could you imagine? Oh my goodness.
Well, let's go into it because tomorrow night is a Tuesday night, and guess who has a meeting Tuesday night?
Oh.
Yep, it's the Oconee County Council. Oh boy! And guess what's on tap?
Let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble.
But
you know we got to cut that budget. You know,
but here, how are they going to pass this budget on the third reading with less than 6 budget meetings? They had like it was like 112 budget meetings last year, and now they're going to have like 3, maybe 4.
You know what? Hey,
It's like,
wait a minute.
We're only going to pass what I want to pass.
Yeah.
And I want my
No.
$17 million
About it is,
plus
too.
fund.
Hey,
Have they
wait.
even?
Oh, Cathy, say
I wonder if any of the employees even know, because I can tell you the way some of the employees wind up having to work when there's 50 employees that they're short. They probably don't have time to watch those meetings.
Nope.
They don't.
Nope.
And I can tell you their bosses probably aren't telling them because they don't have time to watch.
Well,
those
you know
meetings.
what?
So they don't even know. They don't even know that they're about to not get their raise this year.
But Cathy, the problem with the bosses is if you've got a directorship in the county somewhere, that position's almost political. And as soon as you step out of line, the council will get rid of you. So they've got the directors and supervisors held hostage.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait a minute. Cathy, do you remember that last year when with a great fanfare, how we're going to look at the budget from the bottoms up and every single entry and blah, blah. They hadn't looked at squat. What they did is they pulled a number out of their hiney, like this one guy talked about $50 million. based on
They pulled it
zip.
out of the
Yeah,
hand.
Not even
know that?
just like with sewer south. Oh, it's going to bring a bazillion jobs. Well, just trust me. Oh, what? 30, 40, 50 million bucks? Yeah, right. That's crazy, and everybody knows it.
But you bring up a good point. You take a look at the county council, right? Uh-oh.
Oh, I can't see this stuff. What do you got to read it when it's good.
Could they call themselves professional models at that point?
Probably.
So,
Professional
who said
cops.
that?
Our good friend Morgan Owens.
Oh my goodness. Man, I tell you what, we love Morgan, don't we, Peyton?
I
Say
say,
yeah.
Good job.
Say, we love you, Morgan.
We love you, Morgan.
All right.
all right, Roger, our good friend Roger says they met with the OCC since they have the majority. That's all that matters to them.
Well,
That's
don't
true.
you think it's a bit of a conflict of interest that the OCC was bad mouthing the county folk? Some of the county folks say the court system and the sheriff's office and the jail and just pretty much involved in the legal process about this time last year. They were all dirty dogs, and now they're holding the purse strings to their raises. Am I the only person that thinks that's a
No.
conflict of
Well,
interest?
let's think about this too. I absolutely agree with Cathy, but you look at those 5 men, 2 business owners, a retired finance guy who went to the Citadel,
Mm-hmm.
right? See, that took care of 3 of them. Then we got 2 guys that work at, one retired from Duke and is now working there part-time. So he's making time and a half at Duke. The other one is the big wig there doing stuff. And, if you look at the pay charts, they make like $120 an hour. I said, all of them are elitist. Does anybody in here make $120 an hour?
No, I live on a.
I mean,
fixed
I
income.
live on a fixed income as well. But $120 an hour. And they're going to sit up there and lord over the county and say that the guy that takes the trash at the reception at the recycle centers and stuff, well, his time is only worth $11 an hour, and we're not going to give him a cost of living raise.
Yeah.
What kind of asshole is that?
Well, let me tell you something.
And the thing of it is we had the same discussion a while back because they wanted the police officers, one of their buddies came in and they want the police officers to start out at $65,000 a year, which is fine, well and good because police officers do have a dangerous job. However, they don't recognize the fact that the solicitors, who are attorneys with a Juris Doctorate, do not start out at $65,000 a year. I mean, it's nonsensical what they're talking about. So, and you also think that solicitors and then paralegals and also office staff and in pretty much anybody in the courthouse is salaried. And when court time comes around, those people work sometimes 9 and 10 o'clock at night to get things ready for court. You're talking sometimes they're there until late night. They come early in the morning because they have to get everything ready because they are short staffed. And if you don't have everybody
I bet
there,
the council's short-staffed.
it comes to a screeching halt. If you don't have them, it stops because, I mean, you have to have every link in the chain. And they're not realizing that. They're saying these non-essential people. Well, who are those non-essential people? Show them to me. They're not getting it. They're not getting it.
Cathy,
at all.
you're right. Let me just say something. Because when I go at it with these guys, the ones that got the biggest mouths, so, what do you know? You're senile. Okay, so let me tell you something. The decades that I spent in business, we went through some very, very tough times where we had to cut budgets. That stuff is not easy, but you have to really think about it. You got to be fair, and you really have to care about people. Now, that doesn't mean you don't make tough decisions, but what I don't like is when people are very cavalier about it, politicking everything, and good people that don't deserve it are getting screwed for stupid decisions based on people that are arrogant. And that's exactly what it is. Not one of these guys in that majority knows how to run a damn business. Not one of them. Not one of them understands how to run a budget and what it means to be held to that budget. But boy, they sure are hell-bent on hurting good people in the county that all of us depend on every single day. And they need to rise up and need to tell them fairly, guys, this is wrong. You can't treat us like we're second-class citizens.
Well, that elitist mentality that we're starting to see from the OCC is exactly where they started trying to defeat an elitist lakefront mentality, right?
Yes.
Well, now that we know now that was all a ruse to get into power,
Oh.
and they are the elitists in the county, right?
Yep. And I got something to talk about that
So-
when we get to that.
So how it's like that whole the axe kept getting votes from the trees because they said it was one of them, right?
Right. And that's one of the things, when we first started talking.
But if you're a common person in this county, you'd have nothing in common with the guy that lives in an $800,000 house making $900 a day.
But you know what though? I don't think that's it. What the thing about it is it has to do with arrogance. You can come from any income level.
Could you imagine knowing that arrogant Napoleon guy is keeping your livelihood hostage because they took away the step increases?
Now,
they took away the cost of living.
Now, are they bringing those back?
They haven't met and
We'll
voted.
know
And what
tomorrow night if that's coming back.
He said, I'm almost $1.7 million in this slush fund. You can beg me for your pay. There's no cost of living adjustment. And we're taking away the seniority step increase idea that we put in place.
Well, here's another problem.
Just imagine when he goes to throw his garbage away.
You already brought up something. You talked about, I think it was Cathy here just a second ago was talking about $65,000 for the sheriff's department. You already brought up a problem. That was already brewing to be a problem within the sheriff's department because how about all of the people that's worked for 20-something plus years
Yes.
that has had the seniority?
Yes.
That right there already had started a conversation that they were kind of upset.
But
Well,
Jeff,
wouldn't you be?
I would be too.
but
Absolutely.
Yes.
But it was done on purpose. But that's the problem. It
That's
was done
common,
on purpose.
but
here's the
Jeff,
thing.
hold
on. If I worked at a plastics company for 29 years and you told me that the guy coming in the
making
door,
$65,000, I'm only making $35,000.
this guy's coming in
Absolutely.
the door,
Absolutely.
making twice what I started out at for doing half of what I had to do, you wouldn't be mad.
now wait a minute. Were you a manufacturing engineer or one kind of like
Well,
Or a plant worker. There's a difference.
Oh, okay. All right.
But the thing about it is, if I put that in perspective for the OCCs, is if I was a plastics worker for 29 years and I hadn't gotten any raises, and you're going to say that, Peyton, you start tomorrow and you're going to make the same wages as me, man, that would make me mad.
Yeah, but so I want to just feed on to Jeff real quick. So what you guys were talking about, that's common sense. You got
to realize
We don't have
sense-
common sense.
No. It's common sense. I do not believe for a second they don't know it, and I'll tell you why. Wait, no, let me finish. Because what's going to happen, Jeff, when you're talking about this, they're going to make these edicts because they don't really care. And you know where these problems are going to be? They're going to be sitting right in the county with those managers that got to deal with it, and they're going to be up on that platform, and they're just going to. They don't care.
Here's my prediction. Is all that was smoke and mirrors and just baloney, making him sound like he was so tough and so big and so bad. And then during the first week of Pride Week, he's going to get in there and he's going to say, he's going to be walking around like Oprah. Well, there's a raise for you and a raise for you and a raise for you. And hey, here's the stamp stuff back. Well, look at me.
No, wait a minute. Are you saying that that's going to be purely political?
I think this whole thing was a setup to make him look like a train wreck.
Yes.
And Superman kept it on the rails.
Let me just
when they didn't do their job in the first place.
Let me read this something to you. I've brought this to our attention to our show before, but I want to bring it again to folks listening and for everyone here. Listen to what I'm about to say. I'm going to read a general description of a job. Okay. And I'm going to read you the job duties. Here we go. General description. The purpose of the position is to monitor and screen all waste and recycled materials delivered by residents to the county convenience centers and blah, blah, blah. Job duties. Open and close the convenience centers. Monitor and screen all waste and recyclable materials delivered by residents to the center. Direct traffic. Assist the public. Monitor the volume of recycled containers. Operate stationary compactor. Maintenance. Maintain the convenience centers surrounding the area. Clean, orderly. Maintain records of daily activities. Answer the telephone. Provide information assistance to the callers. Clean and maintain assigned tools. And assist with other waste department functions as assigned. $24,243 is your starting salary.
Poverty wages.
Now, if you have a family of three, Cathy, here I'm going to answer this. If you have a family of three, that is then deemed you are below the poverty level, because then a family of three in a household, $24,860 is the poverty guideline. So if you have a mother and a father, and you have a son or a daughter, and you only have that, that's below poverty level.
Hey,
Okay.
but you know what? Scrooge McDuck didn't care about anything but his own money. And I tell you, we've let Scrooge McDuck get a hold of our budget, and he thinks it's his money in his slush account.
You know
We
what's funny
have
is that
failed.
there's a
We have failed.
there's a retired accountant on the county council, and
Mhm.
they didn't listen to him for squat. I mean, he tried to talk, and they wouldn't listen to him.
Well, because remember, they know more than the other two. They
Yeah, right.
they know completely everything.
Yeah, their
Look,
life experiences are really good for
They
them.
know.
He's older.
And on top of that,
and
we
that
have
was
a
his business.
conversation about non-essential workers.
Well,
I've heard that one 6 years ago.
But listen, to how-
Non-essential workers.
Jeff, listen.
And I agree. You know, they should have a study, and if there are in fact jobs that could be merged,
But
and
wait
they
a
could
minute.
move things.
They are
Right.
having a study now. Have you seen it? Yes, they're having the marketing study.
But I want to bring this up. They talk about lowering the millage and keeping taxes low because it's hurting the poor people of Oconee County. Well, the poor people of Oconee County are so poor that generally most of them don't own their own property. They don't own a vehicle like the Lexuses that we see smashing over signs going up the mountain. We don't see that. We don't see the common Itron worker or the Borg Warner employee driving a nice Lexus or the Jeep Grand Wagoneer like my wife wants. We don't see that. But who is driving those things? Who is owning the property? You know, who bought up all the $100,000 properties in the county and turning around and making sure that they can rent them for at least 10% of their value to these lower income folks? I tell you who it is. There's not a member of the top 4 or 5 in the OCC that don't have multiple properties. They're the ones that are feeling it because they have to pay 6% on all those rental properties that they're using to oppress these poor people with.
Real, I never knew that. Well, I kind of suspected it, but
But that's my theory.
yeah,
These they are in this for themselves. They're
Well, sure
not in it for the poor guy.
no.
Because even if because you just say, well, these people renting, they're paying the property taxes. Well, yeah, they're paying the property taxes because every time property tax goes up, the landlord's not going to eat it. They're just going to pass it right on.
They're going to raise the rent.
Remember that guy that sent something into us about getting kicked out of his home in the snow because that one elitist OCC guy
Yes.
wanted to sell the property for a profit and didn't even give the guy that was living there an option to buy the property from him and just put him out in the cold.
Well, he also was the one too. There was another one that sent in here about the condition of their house that they actually was renting from one.
Right.
And it was in horrible, trashy condition, and they actually sent pictures in.
So we really got to think about who is actually out there for the common man.
Let me just say, let me give you one example.
But hold on, I'm not done. Here's the thing. When I said I hope they're listening. When I said that the Republican Party and the OCC were not for the common man, That's what I'm talking about. These people in the OCC are taking advantage of the common man. They're not for them. They're going to drive
only
them
gonna
into
use
the
them.
ground.
They're only using them for what they think they can get out of them, and they've proved that time and time
Right.
again.
So
If we go back, I can name names of who they tried to influence and tell what to do.
so
AKA Luke Moore, Jennifer Moore, Rannie Bond was in there, Sean Tilson.
Well,
Shall I go on?
But listen, then we get this letter to the editor or op-ed or whatever it was that they printed for the third time in a row.
I do want to tackle that, but can we go ahead and take a break? Chris, I'm going to let you finish, and then I want to take a break.
Thank you. Okay. So, first of all, you and I'll disagree because, it doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat. I mean, you either understand that doing these types of things is much more complicated than edicting things and not caring. But I want to give you an example because it's not due to, I'll say they don't have the knowledge or the skills and they don't understand. But let me give you an example. This is the vice president of the Oconee County Conservatives posting this on his blog since we've been talking about county employees. Now, remember, Matthew Durham is the president of the Oconee County Conservatives, and then you got Nix, who's the public relations. This is what the vice president wrote. I guess all 2,000 people were too scared. The people watching the show, this is him mocking, were too scared to show up to confront Matthew. It was a great meeting last night. Maybe the Let's Trash 4 followers will show up Tuesday and speak on behalf of county employees. Poof, don't hold your breath. Think about that. This guy is mocking the plight of the county employees.
Well, he don't give a
who
damn.
have it. Zach, but I mean, I'm saying this guy is mocking the plight of the county employees with families in a very serious situation, putting it in print. Now, wait, with the chairman of the county council defending him at every turn, holding him up as a role model.
Tell me that's not irrelevant. Let me say this again. He is irrelevant.
Well,
And as long as we keep saying stuff like this, he's irrelevant.
but
He
No,
is.
you tie him to
But
No, it doesn't work that way, Chris.
Oh, he's tied to the chairman.
No, it doesn't work that way. You tie it to him and him alone.
I disagree. I
I
absolutely
disagree as well.
I'm sorry,
I
I
agree
don't.
with Chris.
I don't.
I agree with Chris. He is the face
Exactly.
of the OCC.
Yes, he
is the morals of the OCC.
He says the crap
And-
out loud
and
that,
that's
that Durham
They're
says in the background.
absolutely. He
running
says what
the
they're
county.
thinking.
You better
They're
believe it.
running the
I'm
county.
sorry. I disagree. He is your number one problem. And he is.
No,
We
relevant.
don't deny that. We
Okay,
don't deny
but
that.
listen,
So
he's
why don't
doing
they
all of
dump
this
him?
stuff on his own.
No.
Yeah, it is.
I disagree.
I-
Nick
No,
says we
He
use
speaks
him.
for them.
He
He
used,
speaks for them.
and that's why we get that lady coming on the thing saying, you know why that principal got fired over there in Walhalla is because she didn't like that little gay kid. You know that what kind of bigoted crap is that?
Yeah.
But that's typical, unfortunately.
But he's the reason
I
that lady
look at
feels like
this-
she can say that.
I look at this differently. We're talking with someone that is
That's
completely irrelevant.
Very rude.
That everything he says out of his mouth, he's proven time and time again that he has no concept or clue what he's doing. There's no traction or nothing in this world right now. And if you noticed, his buddies are not taking up for him anymore.
Well,
You've got to
wait.
take a look at
They're
the big
not.
picture. They're not taking up for him, and they're also kind of island away from him.
Jeff,
That
I
doesn't-
respect what
But,
you.
but it's true.
No, wait. I truly
All I can
respect.
say is
I truly respect what you're saying, but I want to give you an example. This guy is the OCC vice president. He and Nix and Durham is the president. They're like this. He's saying these things and he says them on a regular basis. If you were the chair, if you were the president of that group or the public spokesperson, and you had this kind of crap that inflamed people coming out on social media, you would say, listen, you need to shut the hell up because you're making us look bad.
Absolutely.
No, they're all
I-
together in this.
I agree.
They're all
I
together.
agree.
Respectfully, what I'm saying.
Until the OCC
Denounces it.
denounces him
Yes.
and says he is not part of us, and the Republican Party denounces him and says he is not part of us,
Yep.
They all share his vile views.
And
That's
Durham is more careful because he's in a position of power. So they do his dirty work for him. That's what I think.
They
still-
never came up.
That's
and
my
said,
opinion. Legally, my opinion.
Yeah, they never came up and said, after all of that, they never went back and said, hey, you know what we were saying about all these county employees during that legal mess? They never came back and apologized for that.
Not
They
once.
never, and now, like I said, they're holding the purse strings and stuff. They never came back and said, hey, what my buddy said about the county employees being dirty and this and that. And no, they never
How,
came back and
how
took any of that back.
degrading is that for these people, Cathy? These poor people busting their ass every day, and these guys are on high. I mean,
This has happened 8 years ago. Exactly the same thing when then council member Glenn Hart made the statement, and they talked about non-essential employees. We've been down this road before. A little history lesson will take you back 8 years. We went through this exact same thing before.
Hey,
wait.
you know what?
Let me put one plug in.
Hold on a second. We gotta
If
go
you
to a
were
break.
on council and Rannie was on council,
Mhm.
it wouldn't matter what your party was. You would listen to that crap for about 4 seconds. Say, wait a minute, are you guys crazy? We can't do that crap. to
No,
people."
I've already would have
Well,
done
And
something.
Rannie would do the same thing. And you guys need to get off it and
But-
do something and run.
But
I can run the machine.
here's the thing, Chris. Here's the thing. We got these folks that are up there in this position. We haven't even talked about demise. And is he really got no backbone to stand up and say, you know what, these are hardworking people in the county and they deserve better?
I will tell you how I feel. I told y'all that I feel he's a swing vote. I don't think it is a super majority as like the newspaper and everybody's playing with. I really think and the reason I say that is last council meeting, he spoke up about something and he was correct concerning the issue of where they wanted to investigate Gary Gollin. And Don said, no, that's not what we do. That is the job of the administrator and the other thing. So I think though
I guess when this budget passes,
We'll find out.
Know
We'll
what
know.
we do.
we'll exactly know. But there's another thing that we've got to know first. And there is an executive session tomorrow night that's on the agenda that I think is kind of interesting. They're having a executive to discuss a contractual matter related to the city of Seneca, the city of Walhalla, the city of Westminster, and the town of Salem. Number 2. I know exactly what that is, and that is the fire contract. That's where we're going to find out where we're heading. We're going to find out because Don is responsible to the city of Seneca.
Oh, so you're talking about non-essential employees.
No. I'm talking about contracts.
It'll be interesting.
That right there is going to tell the tale who and what and how we move forward.
Oh, I know who the hell I'm going to depend on.
Because number one, if he goes along and he votes for a contract for the city of Seneca and what they want, then I think things will be fine. But if he does not vote and he does not agree and it fails to give the city what they're asking for, I think we're about to see World War III, and it'll be front page in the local paper. It's coming. I guarantee you it's coming. That's what's going to happen. That's the tale of the tale right there. In the executive session, the discussion on that contractual matter is what we've been waiting for. That is that fire contract.
So one question.
Mhm.
So 7:38. I know we got to take a break.
Yeah, we're way past
And Randy
break.
wants to talk about this rhino thing, and
But-
I have
but-
something juicy about
I
it.
do.
Like one of our listeners said, silence is approval.
Well, sure it is.
Yes,
And if
You're an enabler.
if Mize does not stand up against it,
Hey.
then he's complicit in everything that happens to the county going forward. When all those employees go find those $50,000 jobs in the county, and when the 5 of them have to pick up the trash, they have to go on water calls and everything else. Then they'll know they should have paid them employees.
You know what? Let me just say this one last thing before we go to break. You look at Paul Kane you look at Elliott and you look at Davis, how they pack those chambers, treating those guys like crap in front of their families to the point of intimidating, like they're wondering, geez, are these guys going to beat me up? Somebody needs to grow sets on that thing. Say, listen, dude, you want to act like that?
But,
you get your ass out of here and talk to the cops. They got to make hard decisions.
Speaking of Paul and his family, I want to remind our listeners to constantly keep them in prayer.
I do.
That's a great family, and they're going through a whole lot. And
most people know that Elliot was diagnosed with leukemia, and we've had 2 different blood drives. We're still doing what we can to help with the community, and I thought there was going to be an update today because Elliot, I think, had to go back to the doctor. I haven't heard from Paul today. So again, that family has faced it, and they definitely could use our support and our prayers. Absolutely.
Horrible.
Hey, I need to go to a break. We're way past the break time right now. Again, welcome into our this is a special show Monday night. Normally we're on Sunday, but we had a special last night, so this is the show you get tonight. All right, stay tuned. We still got more. What is that? D-Day. Yeah, that is tomorrow. Is June 6th is D-Day. Yeah, thanks to appreciate David Dowell checking in on there with that one. I'd forgot about that. All right, break time's upon us. We'll come back with more. Let's talk Oconee SC. As always, you can follow our show on Facebook, social media, and the website. Yes.
Real quick before we cut off, I want to ask David Dowell if he's willing to pay me $35 an hour to clean out that storage building.
What storage building?
It's a personal inside thing between me and him today.
Oh,
okay. All right. Well, we'll find out soon.
Really have to say that?
We're coming back in just moments right here. Let's talk Oconee SC.
Could it be the whole of
Mark your calendars. It's back. It is the most revered poker run raffle in the South. The Seneca Rotary Club is proud to announce that it is back. The Poker Run Raffle on Lake Kiwi coming up June 9th and 10th with a rain date scheduled for June 24th. Now, this event benefits Seneca Rotary Club Educational Foundation and the Community Grant Program. If you need more information, visit SenecaRotaryPokerRun.com. Join us as we broadcast live from the Lighthouse, taking place starting once again on June the 10th, and the time we will be live starting from 10 a.m. until 1. And that'll be at the Lighthouse at 1290 Doug Hollow Road in Seneca. For grabs is your chance to win $1,500, and the runner-up wins $500. Again, if you need more information, the registration is taking place June the 9th. That'll be happening at the Lighthouse with the Poker Run date starting June 10th, starting at 10 a.m. If you need more information, visit the website again, SenecaRotaryPokerRun.com. That's SenecaRotaryPokerRun.com, and we will see you there June 9th, June 10th for the Poker Run, the most revered poker run in the South. Proud to be a sponsor of Sunny 107.9 WFBS and Lake Kiwi Radio Online. It's Twice a Town Tap Room. Cold beer, a family atmosphere located in downtown Salem. They're glad to be investing in the town of Salem, and they strive to be a premier hangout in the community and county. Whether you live in town, out of town, on the lakes, including Kiwi, Jocassee, or Hartwell, on one of our beautiful rivers, or you're just passing through, you're always welcome at Twice a Town Tap Room. Don't forget, live music, great entertainment, and fun can be had at Twice a Town Tap Room, located in downtown Salem. Again, for more information, visit twiceatowntaproom.com. That's twiceatowntaproom.com. There you'll find all of the information you need to know about Twice a Town Tap Room, and make sure you stop in and say hello. Twice a Town Tap Room is a proud sponsor of Sunny 107.9 WFBS and Lake Kiwi Radio Online.com. Their website, once again, twiceatowntaproom.com.
Your headphones.
Oh, baby, what a light you fire. Oh, I've been thinking about you. You're my one desire there. Know what I mean? I think you do. Oh, yeah, a little exile there this evening here. You know, I could get into doing my Barry White radio show. Hey, oh, Perry, I just want to let you know that
I'll be stroking.
Oh, I'll be stroking. When the Oconee County Sheriff's Department shined their light and I looked at Mike, I said, I'll be stroking. All right. It's getting a little hot in here. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I know. Welcome back here to Let's Talk Oconee SE. It's a Monday evening, and we've had so far we've had a wonderful show, having dialogue and all sorts of other great stuff. Let me get in here real quickly before we go. We have some comments here. Let's see here. History repeats, but on steroids. That's the truth, Roger. Morgan also says, Roger, to silence equals approval. Yes. And let's see. Yes, tomorrow night is important. That comes straight from David Dow. And he also says something, too, about we'll leave Oconee and droves will happen. All right. So there you go. Who's taking it back here?
Let's talk. Randy and I want to talk about Rhino.
I really wanted David to publicly say he was going to pay me $35 an hour to clean out the Republican
man, you're going to
storage
steal
unit.
my time.
But really,
talk about that republication.
The journal. And yeah, I really do appreciate Riley and them guys down there. Yeah. But damn, they are running out of stuff to put in the paper.
Giving them free advertising these whack jobs.
But this is the third time that they ran the difference in a Rhino and a Republican by that disingenuous guy that said that Duke was leaving.
Maybe they accidentally, printed the paper one too many times, and they just oh well, we got this page again. I mean,
it's like throw that away.
Well, I have to wonder. I have to ask: is it selling papers? It probably isn't selling papers. Now, if you would take us and put us in the newspaper, we would help you sell papers. Riley, listen. You got to hire us because we will make you money. They would have
a shortage of ink.
But
that's right.
But here's the thing. If you follow the journal, you follow the metrics. I don't believe for 1 minute that they pay Ugandans to follow them. And since
I know where you're going with this one.
And since I've known Chris and you, they've gone from like 12,000 followers to over 17,000 followers. And they can contribute. And Hal, you can listen here, buddy. Chris and I make your online presence, and that's a fact. 3,000 followers in the paper on account of you. Really?
Yeah.
And they speak English, but I speak Spanish too.
But the thing about it is they keep running and rerunning this same old thing. And it's like you've got these guys preaching unity by that Raul Cruz op-ed, and you follow it up with this Rhino thing about how if you're not got a letter A on your shirt or an armband that looks weird, and if you don't take 100% of their propaganda to heart, you can't be a true Republican.
But the problem is
So which is it? Do you want to be inclusive?
I have this. Let me give you an example. So let's talk about let's dissect this for a minute. So here's the dollars. Here's the dollars. Okay. This is his idea of a rhino. We need to spend this extra money in the budget because we will get matching funds. After all, if we don't get the free stuff, someone else will. That is what David Nick said about rhinos. Now, and then in the article about these infrastructure funds that we got for Sewer South, he writes, Democrats have never met someone else's dollar that they didn't like to spend. Direct quote.
But wait. He said that he wanted to get matching funds from somebody else.
No. He said,
and then he said Democrats never fit.
No. What he said is rhinos, not them. Rhinos. They say we need to spend this extra money in the budget because we will get matching funds. After all, if we don't get the free stuff, someone else will. He's saying that's what rhinos say. So you as a rhino are always looking for free stuff. So then he writes, as a Democrat, that I'm always saying Democrats have never met someone else's dollar that they didn't like to spend. Okay, now let's move forward to what he said. And this is how I'm going to bring these things. I got some juicy ones. This is him. There is no study to cost justify a large infrastructure endeavor. That is Sewer South. I simply ask that you use common sense operating experience. Really. So he's got operating experience of multi-millions of dollars without a proper study and due diligence. Accordingly, the only study that really needs to be done at this point is to ride south on Interstate 85 to Hart County, Georgia, or ride north to Anderson or Greenville County. Do you see what these other counties are doing? We realize we are short of the $12 million needed to begin the project, but close the gap by finding more state funding for the project. This is what David Nix wrote, but look what he read up above. Okay, think about that. So here's something else that you rhinos do not consistently adhere to a palatable political belief system or core set of tenets because they are distracted by the money and influence from outside interests. Okay, now, but what happened when
he sounds like he's a self-licking ice cream
what
cone.
happened when the leader of the political party said to eliminate the Constitution? They didn't say anything.
We're not going national.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Give me the. Okay, now here's a dog whistle. This is what he said. Rhinos in favor of zoning ordinances and increased property restrictions and in favor of displacement of local practices and traditions to make room for foreign ones. Okay, so
But wasn't him? It was just in the paper that brought up a proposal. For
development.
housing
Yeah, development standards.
but only on
that
certain developments.
that
You
turns
have to
into
have
No, wait,
so
no,
much
wait, wait.
land.
An amendment to Oconee County's development standards meant to restrict subdivision density has been postponed. In April, Oconee County Planning Commissioner David Nix proposed adding to the development standards, sounds like zoning to me, an initial screening rule of greater than 20 acres in size, greater than 2 houses per acre, blah, blah, blah. There is no max density in the control-free district, a majority of what the county is zoned as. So if a prospective developer meets all the standards, the property will be automatically screened into the residential zoning category after staff approval. So these guys talk about zoning being a communist plot, socialist plot, yet now they know it's totally out of control. They're trying to figure out what to do with it and suggesting it. They're talking about Democrats and everybody just takes money and throws it down the drain, whatever's free, yet they want to sit there and take these matching funds, gobble, gobble, gobble like a pig trough, even though
Like
there's
drinking-
been no
They're
validation.
taking it like they're drinking warm hot dog water, right?
Exactly, gargling with it.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, there is no validation whatsoever that there's going to be a return on investment. Not only that, if you look at history, it's proven there wasn't before. So this guy is extremely disingenuous, who's also tied to the chairman of the council majority. And this is what the guys do. They do whatever they say to throw red meat out to a base as they're gobbling it up, whatever they can, and trying to blame the Democrats to deflect. That's it. Thank you.
I mean, you're absolutely right. And then
Well, those are his words.
right, but they tried to change the face of their party just a little bit with bringing in Mr. Cruz and that couple of the guy that wears the cowboy hat, and they trying to be real nice and stuff, but really
But they're not nice to me.
the thing about it is that's just putting sheep's clothing on a beast.
And it's not even hiding it. I mean,
Right.
they're not even good at it.
Right. So they're not changing anything other than the lipstick that they put on the pig.
What's that old saying
So,
I heard a long time ago? Please kiss me before you screw me. That's exactly what's happening.
Chris,
Have you heard that?
It's true, but hey, my daughter's in here, Chris.
Oh, sorry.
It's all
No,
right.
it's fine.
I'm sorry, Peggy.
shame. It's a family show.
You remember I'm senile. I'm sorry.
But the thing about but you're right though. These folks that are
Forget
associated
I was in here.
until
He did.
until the OCC moves itself either in one direction or the other. I don't care which direction it goes. For them to
Away.
be a legitimate force, they need to either get behind that group that is so vile and nasty and obnoxious and just call themselves who they truly are, or if they truly aren't that, then they need to completely divest in those 5 or 6 people and get back into the Republican Party, one umbrella, and do great things. or you're either with us or you're against us. Isn't that what you said, Luke?
Mm-hmm. Let me ask all three of you a question right now. Today is June the 5th, 2023. In less than a couple of weeks, we have to have a new budget for the 23-24 fiscal year. When we come back another year from now at this same date, where do you think Oconee County is going to be?
It's going to be a mess.
A
Rainey?
hot mess.
So I like that question.
I just want everyone to think about it. That folks right now, where you're watching, think about this. This is where we've come within 1 year. Okay. So today is June the 5th. Let's have this conversation again 1 year from today. Where do you think Oconee is going to be?
But here's my thing. It's where are we going to be and where could we be?
Exactly.
We tout ourselves as being one of the bottom 5 tax bases in the county.
Or in the state. I mean, we're the lowest. That's right. That's right.
5 lowest. Right?
That's right.
And we're proud of that. But should we really be proud of that?
No.
Because I'm a very conservative person, but I still believe that all conservatives believe we still have to do what's right for our communities, and it takes money to do that.
Absolutely.
You get what you pay for.
City of Walhalla's got fallen down buildings in it. The building that's beside the courthouse that used to be the old courthouse, I guess.
That is.
All the windows are busted out and knocked out.
It's a biohazard.
You drive all over this county and there's abandoned things. Whether it's private property, most of it, I guess you can have a yard full of crap if you want, but it just doesn't. We could do better.
But I agree. But that's just not money is going to fix that problem. But you got to have the right mentality of leadership.
But here's the thing. Time
you're close.
And time as time goes on, more and more and more people are moving in here that have a different mentality. And those people that are moving in here are still conservative. They've left California, they've left New York, they're leaving Florida because this place is much more conservative than where they were. And they know that for their money they can make this place better. Well, they're going to want to do that.
Well, but let me add on what Rannie says. You said people. That's the operative word. They're moving here. You said people. Mm-hmm. That's the problem we have right now. We don't have people being involved that should be involved. And I'm going to give you a case in point. I know tonight on our agenda we wanted to bring this up. Last Tuesday, the city of Seneca had a special election to fill a vacant seat on city council. Okay. It had been advertised for 3 months. 5,000 eligible voters for the city of Seneca. Only 800 and something came out to vote. That's a problem. Yep. That is a huge issue. We can sit here and we can have this conversation and we can tell everybody here it is. But in the long term, in the long run, in order to right the ship, it's going to take the people. Mm-hmm. The people have to become more involved. Right now, the people don't care. There's people tired of seeing the crap going on, whether it be the national or whether it be here local. People are tired because they feel like their voice is silenced because you've got groups such as the OCC,
ULT.
You've got it all around.
Yeah,
but people don't care. That's the issue.
No,
they don't.
They
don't.
I think some of it is fear too.
If people cared, but if people cared,
hold that, Cathy.
If people cared, they would have lined up last Tuesday and they would come out and they would have voted. But if you go back and you take a look from presidential elections all the way down, we are losing people that's going to the polls because the same thing has been told to me time and time again. I've heard it over and over. I'm tired. My vote don't count anymore.
Okay, so let Cathy brought up. Cathy,
she could have brought it up.
Would you talk about just
Please,
bring up
you
fear
stop so
first.
she can.
And then, well, Lord, you dominate the counter. Jeff, you need to jump in. He keeps stealing my time. So, Kathy, talk about the fear real
Yes,
quick.
producer.
And then I want to, huh?
Yes,
Hush.
producer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kathy, it's all yours.
I need some in Bruce Burrow shut up dogs.
Go ahead, Kathy. Then I'm going to add.
Why
People-
did you say that?
People are afraid to get involved.
Yeah.
Because especially like what we're doing right here, and tomorrow night to go over and talk, just like when all that stuff happened last August or whatever, and it came out that kid was threatening to shoot teachers in the face, and there were over 300 comments in the paper, and people were outraged. People were afraid. But do you know how many people showed up, Randy? How many people showed up to that school board?
Me and you and about 7 others.
Yeah. When it came down to it, that's how many people actually showed. Now,
So-
all those people are outraged and they were scared to death, but they didn't come. And it wasn't because they didn't have cars. They didn't all have to work or anything like that. They're scared to death because they're scared that people are going to look at them, know who their kids were going to be targeted.
There you go.
Or people were going to be talking about them, and they would see it because it goes online. They're going to see, there's the woman that showed up to the school board meeting to talk about so-and-so's kid.
Well, that,
You know-
I get it. I get it.
It's the
But I'm
same.
talking about the fundamental right of voting.
You
No
think those,
one
you
is
think
going
those
to the
turkeys
poll now
don't
and
show up
voting.
at the polls?
Yeah, but wait a minute. Let
You
her
think
finish
those
and let me
turkeys
just
don't
do my
stand at
part
the
and then
polls?
you
Come
wrap it
on.
up.
Come
Okay.
on now. You know better, and you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. But when when the OCC actually started and all that kind of heated up and everything, those turkeys stand out there at the polls. And one of the big things when Grant Keene started, they all got matching T-shirts. I never seen nothing like it. Tim and I pulled up, and it was like a Grateful Dead concert because they all had matching T-shirts lined up and down the road. I'm not
Okay.
even kidding.
So Kathy, I agree with you. I want to. This is true. Let me tell you an
It is.
example, and you can see it today. It's not as bad because of what we put these guys on notice, but you look at the way Cathy used to follow these comments and how these guys would intimidate and bully and threaten. Now they know, guys, it's a different world now. But what they do, just like he said, like this Perry Smith said, why don't you show up and talk about this, blah, blah. There are people that I've talked to, guys that are out of council now, and people who were spectators that would go up there. He said, guys, seriously, these guys, they bully and intimidate, and I don't want to go up there because I don't know what they're going to do.
Okay.
No, wait.
We're having two different conversations here. Let me put it back in perspective. I'm talking about average people doing something about it by voting. You can't sit here and tell me that they're intimidated to go vote.
Okay, I'll give you that.
The voting process takes less than 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on how long it is, to go up and cast a right that was fought for and given
I don't
to
disagree.
you.
I don't
That's
disagree.
the issue that I'm saying.
That's fine. I agree. Some people just don't. They don't want to get involved.
But yet they want to sit behind the keyboard and they want to say, well, I'm mad and I'm going to do something about it. But you only have 800 and something people show up in an election.
Well, it's sad. It's very sad. But what's really, really sad is we go back to that. Where are we going to be next year? Where are we going to be when the county employees can't make a living wage, and then they can't contribute to the local businesses like we need them to keep the economy going? Our businesses are going to go out of business because our people don't have enough money to survive. We already got businesses dropping like flies in Walhalla. There's businesses that are dropping like flies here in Seneca.
Well, I'll be honest with you. In Seneca, it's not near as bad as what Walhalla's gone through the last 4 or 5 months. Matter of fact, we have business that's opening now.
But it's like this thing that's going on in Mountain Rest. You got a business that's trying to open up, but if the people that live there can't afford to be there,
That's right.
Yeah.
and they can't afford to come out and support that business, then that business fails.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every business in town is going to have a county employee special just so that they can get the volume they need to stay in business themselves.
That's
But
exactly right.
And you're right. And these guys will never accept responsibility.
Well, and
They're
the thing
already playing the blame game right now,
Mm-hmm.
just like this crap with the infrastructure.
Mhm.
And they'll come out there, well, that
But-
wasn't
but-
us.
But the thing about it is the county employees are going to have to come up to the point of sales and go, "Hey, I'm a county employee."
Can I get 10% off or 20% because I don't get paid till next year?
Right.
I know. I just wanted to just have this conversation that it's really I'm gonna stand with the Journal on this, the editorial about get off your asses. I have
Yeah,
to
I always
admit
agree
that
with that.
was one of the greatest editorials that I have read in the Journal in quite some time, and it's the truth. Even last year, we saw the same thing in my election.
And
Nobody came out and voted.
They were shaming people,
Yeah.
and they should.
And-
And what happened?
I mean, and
No.
even up there in Walhalla, there's rumors that some of the more some of the better choices that were running for council were approached and told not to run.
yes,
that there
they
would
were.
be problems. You
you mean threatened?
Yes.
the rumors that I heard, it sounded
Really,
like that
Cathy?
there were folks that were doing that. And
That doesn't shock or surprise me in the least.
but you know what? That's just back
Because that actually that thing right there actually happened to me last year.
But
I had the same thing.
that's the same backwoods deliverance type politics that are
You know,
around
people
here.
like that need to
If
be in
you-
jail.
If you run your mouth about
And
me, I'll
if
cut
the
all my
locals
trees
can't handle
down.
it, need to get the federal government in the middle.
It reminds me so much of what we had to put up with in the 50s and 60s with our African Americans going to vote, and they were intimidated. That's what it sounds like to me that
they
we're dealing with
they
now.
went after their families.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, basically, it's still the small town politics, and that's just the way, unfortunately, it rolls. But I wanted to bring that's really alarming and shocking. 800 people out of over 5,000 registered to vote, only 800 something showed up to vote. And I mean, it's a slap in the face for our people that fought for this country, that gave us that right to vote.
Right, and especially tomorrow is D-Day.
Yes. Yeah.
All
right.
I hope that our listeners are mindful of that.
But
Tomorrow.
the average
I
kid,
am.
the average kid growing up now this day and age has no clue or concept about World War II or
the
greatest generation. They have no clue because you know why? We're not teaching our kids.
No,
My
because they want to take it out of school.
my oldest child be 21 in August, and she was born after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
You mean
Everything she knows in her life about tragedy
Started with
is history.
mhm.
She's had no tragedy in her life, and thank God
That's
that
kinda
it's
awesome.
been 20 years since we have had anything terrible happen here in America.
Domestically, that's a different story.
Well, there,
No, I mean, hey, that's a fact.
there has been very small things that there's not been anything like the World Trade Center happened in the last 20 years that was that magnitude.
I was informed to let you know that fifth graders from Kiwi Elementary School know their history.
Good. Good.
That's
They need to
awesome.
be talking about that. They need to be talking about the Holocaust. They need to be talking about the greatest generation. They need to be talking about baby boomers like me who sat next to classmates in school whose fathers never came back.
But what they need to be talking about is how when we get removed from D-Day till we get to here where we're at,
Mhm.
some of the things that started D-Day was book bans and burning books and trying to change society. And here we are.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say I'm on one side of that or the other, but I'm on
Well,
the
you
side
should.
of history that says that if you ban and burn books, that's fundamentally wrong, no matter what they say.
I agree 100%.
Teach your damn
But now we're
children.
talking national.
But no, we're talking Pickens County. We're talking Oconee
Yeah,
County.
we're talking South Carolina.
This
Yeah,
is
how stupid is that?
this is right now. There are people that only want one book, two books to be taught in school, and our children have no right to choose what they read.
That's wrong. That's wrong. That's very ignorant,
But-
and it hurts
But
the
you
kids.
can't.
Makes them less competitive.
So, and I think there are some things that children should not be introduced to. I absolutely agree.
Well,
with
if you
that.
say in the same breath that you're monitoring everything they're doing on the internet, because it's a lot different than when I was growing up. People will say that, well, they can't read this in the book. And then they say, okay, mommy and daddy, I'm going up on the internet. Okay. And then what do they do?
They're looking at big boobies.
Exactly.
My whole point is we just need to be mindful of how zealous we are with some of our actions, so that when we're trying to right our society, we don't take it so far that the ship turns over and we can't come back from that.
And I
list.
agree.
Kids
And
is-
don't be so damn disingenuous with all this crap.
Kids know
You-
more this day and age growing up than I did when I was in like the.
But the problem is they're a lot younger
Yeah.
and they don't handle it as well.
All right, we've got to do final thoughts because we are past our time at
Well,
10 minutes after 8.
What about the award,
Oh, yeah.
with the internal award that we made?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the internal award. Kathy, while they're doing that, I want you to go ahead.
God, golly! God, quit scaring me like
I need
that.
to let Kathy talk about something. She was going to talk about the. Hold up. You were going to talk about the Townville shooter real quick. You had that on
Oh,
the
that's
agenda.
right.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead and
because
talk about that real quick.
I think all the comments, there were a bunch of comments, a lot of really nasty comments, but I don't think that everybody can read the article when they make the comments. So I wanted to point out that what they're trying to do is change the sentence to like 80 years. So it'd be 80 years on top of 16, which means that the first possible release date would be somewhere between us when he's 76 and 96. So it's still a life sentence. The point of doing that is so that he can have access to rehabilitative services, so like mental health things, and to do some other rehabilitative things, because he was in fact a child when that happened. And also in the article and in other articles that they've written about it, and if you follow the trial, everybody involved that testified said that he was abused, physically abused in that home, and people knew he was abused in that home. Now, people are going to come at me for this. What he did was horrific. I'm not excusing what he did. He needs to be there for the rest of his life, because what he did was horrific. But it is a reason he was being abused, and nobody came for him. Nobody came and helped him. So all they're trying to do is to make it so that he can get rehabilitation while he is in jail. So yeah, I don't see too many murderers walking out at 96 years old. I mean, if somebody knows a story where one does, send it to me. I'll be happy to read it, but I haven't seen it. Most people do not live to be elderly in prison. That's just not usually a thing. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. And I really think that it's sad that family, friends, and the school system, just the system pretty much failed that kid as well. And maybe if you see something, say something. And if you're wrong, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? People going to be mad at you? Maybe you prevent something like this. If you know something horrible is happening to a kid, call somebody, get them out of there. I mean, it's just tragedy all the way around. I just wanted to say that.
Kathy, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. That kid needed help, but we can't undo what he did.
No,
And
absolutely.
a lot of people do heinous things because they're in a heinous situation in their life. And I think one of the things that I really got the most out of Thomas's conversation was there are people like Thomas who have been in a situation where they lived that and can articulate what they felt and how that was happening inside them. Maybe this guy can be open about what was going on so we can learn about that as a society, and our teachers and resource officers can take an opportunity to talk to kids like him.
Absolutely.
Because they're out there all the time. He's nothing. He wasn't an anomaly. He wasn't special. He was just absolutely the opposite of that.
Well, and exactly, and that's an opportunity that the state has. If they change this, then they can have people go in there and talk with him, and maybe use this as an opportunity to say, these are triggers for people who are being abused. This is, and use it to look at kids and see warning signs, to say, hey, this is what happened with this kid. And I see this, to teach teachers, to teach school counselors, to, put something out there. I mean, I know people are different, but there had to be big old red flags somewhere.
Right.
There had to be.
And if they can see those, and I'm not saying that it needs to be some minority report, put all these kids that are being taken beat at home and taken advantage of in school and putting them in an institution, I don't think that's the right thing to do.
No.
But we need to be more mindful of how our own children treat other people, so that we as parents can keep. It's our fault as parents that this kid did what he did, because nobody was taking care of him or the kids that were bullying him.
Yeah. Well,
but that's the thing is you're absolutely right. The mental health services that we have in our school systems and in our communities over the last 50 years has created nothing but bullies and victims. And that's a shame.
it really is.
All right. It is time for the final thought.
What about the award?
Oh, let's do the award
so
first.
real quick, before we get to that, talk about the book burning. Larry, one of our
Is that his final thoughts?
one of our folks, brought up the library in Alexandria.
Yeah.
So Hitler wasn't the first one to burn books.
Mm-mm.
He wasn't the first one to burn churches.
Nope.
Hey, this happens over and over and over and over and over again. And I just want to continue to caution folks to look at history. And as we try to write our own country, let's don't mess it up. But and I think that brings us to this here award.
Well, you're right about it. Yes.
It's the Have a Very Nice Day award.
See, with the little teddy
It's
bears.
got a little
Well, wait a minute. Where'd you get that?
little fuzzy teddy bears. It looks like
That was mine.
It looks like it came from Tuesday morning, right before they went out of business.
I bought it. Give me that.
No.
I bought it at Habitat. I got 75% off.
Hey, did you know that there's
It cost me 40 cents. Okay, folks.
Let's talk about the unisex bathrooms at the Goodwill next week.
Wait a minute. It
Yeah.
Always
is
been
a teddy
unisex
bear,
bathroom, guys.
and we signed it. Yerba, Cathy, Jeff, Jazzy Jeff. No, that's Rannie. God, he's right. Took up all the room, even all over the bear.
He's a big guy.
And it was changed to have a very nice day. Now, this is an award that we award ourselves, and what it is we talk very quickly about what we did, one of the kind things we did for strangers, and then we quickly vote on who won the award this week. Now, I'm going to start. What I did is I used my turn signal all week so people knew when I was turning. And I know people appreciated that. Now, Randy, you got to go quick because we have to end this.
I tell you what, I will yield this week because I think that's the kindest thing you could have done, and I really want you to keep that piece of shit.
Thank you. Well, Peyton, you're not on the you're not in the award. Jeff, what did you do that was kind?
I'm alive.
All right.
All right. I'll tell you what.
Well, wait a minute,
I'll tell you what I did. It was kind. I came up last night and helped Cathy. I helped Cathy put on the show.
Yes, he did.
So
He's been a rock star.
I worked hard making sure that event got on for people to be able to watch it. So that's a lot better than your turn signal.
yes.
Well, all right.
He
I
won.
didn't say it wasn't. I'm
He
just telling
won.
you what I did. Cathy, what did you do besides? You can't use what you did for the conference because that
haven't
trumps
seen any
everybody. It's got to be a
strangers.
regular one.
I haven't
Stranger.
seen any strangers this week.
What did
Kathy-
she do?
haven't seen-
Kathy's never met a stranger.
I haven't
All right.
seen
So
any
let's quickly
strangers.
vote.
I vote for Chris.
I vote for Jeff.
Stranger danger.
All right, I vote for Jeff. Jeff keeps it. Good work.
Oh,
Now
look.
we do our final shout out.
Let me see
Who-
that. That's
who-
gonna look nice. That's gonna look
You-
nice
you-
right over here.
You earned that. I may even up my game, give somebody a quarter for my oldies card.
All right.
You want me to go first?
I'm going to go first because I
All
got
right,
two
I go.
things. I'm going to go first. First of all, this week, the friends from the Cat Bus are in the shock and disbelief. The general manager of Cat Bus, Sammy Grant, passed away. He also was a longtime supervisor for transportation in Oconee County with over 33 years of service. So our hats off to you. We will miss you and thank you for what you did, Sammy Grant. You are a gentleman and a scholar. He passed away over the weekend. Finally, here, road paving. Boy, we all hate our roads in Oconee County, don't we? Oh, boy. Has anybody been down Country Junction Road? Let me tell you something. That may be the worst damn road now in all of Oconee County. It hurts my back when I ride down it.
Didn't it just get fixed?
Hold on. No, it did not get fixed. Country Junction Road is still a mess.
But they worked on it. They spent money
No, they
down
made
there.
it worse.
But they spent money.
They spent money to make it worse.
Way to go, Matt. Way to go.
Well, no, that's not Matt. Matt has nothing to do with that. That's a state road.
No, he could have called it.
That's right.
All right, I agree with you. Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry.
All right.
But I want to let you know.
And got that straightened out.
I know he should have called, but he didn't. So here's what's coming up on the paving projects for Oconee County. Brace yourself. You ready?
Like 6 miles? Yeah, I read that.
2 miles of Highway 11 is going to be paved.
That's
Why?
good.
Wait a minute. 1.61 miles of Rochester Highway is going to be paved. That's Highway 130. And 4.8 miles of Highway 183 at Pickens Highway. That's going to be paved. But here comes the real kicker. You ready? Neighborhood streets to be paved in Oconee County. South Fairplay Street in Seneca, 1.35 miles, I might add. Then we're going to pave 0.19 miles of North Oak Street in the Seneca area. Did you hear me correctly when I said 0.19 miles?
I like
Whose
that.
driveway is that?
That's one
We have
pothole.
it, or who member of the OCC lives there? We
Right.
don't know. Seriously. The biggest road that they're going to pave in Oconee County is Sam Brown Road. It's coming in a little just under 5 miles, and that's right over here off of 59 Takena Highway.
They must have some pull.
Well, it's considered a farm to market secondary to be paved. I didn't even know we had farm to market roads in Oconee County. Did you know that?
Yes, every road that says FM it says farm to market.
Hey!
Reading is fundamental.
All right, that's my final thoughts here. All right, let's go with Cathy next, and then we'll come back here for our other two for final thoughts.
I would just want to reiterate how great last night was, and thank you all for coming. And yeah, that was fabulous, and I appreciate all the work, especially you, Jeff. That was fabulous. Couldn't have gone any better.
All right, Randy Bond.
Well, I'm going to yield the
floor.
remainder of my time to Peyton. So she's got a shout out to
Okay.
her new friend Morgan and her grandparents. And we'll go ahead, Peyton. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. This is Peyton. Shout out to Pawpaw, Granny, and Nana and Pawpaw, and Mama and Mitchie. Y'all watching here? This is Peyton.
All right. Good job. Good. But yeah, I think we had a good show. We covered a lot of topics. Tomorrow is going to be interesting for the county. And I hope that it turns out like D-Day did for the war for the county employees and not like Pearl Harbor. So let's go ahead and just have a little moment of silence later for them.
It will be a real travesty if the county council doesn't do the correct thing.
Well,
That's all I can say. I mean, it's going to be a travesty. And if I was a county employee, I'm not sure that I would take this laying down. What they going to do? Fire you?
that's right.
I mean, what they going to do?
Yes.
Fire you?
Yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
find how not essential you are then.
Go ahead. Because they ain't nobody wanting to come to work for Oconee County now.
All right.
So
I'll
they're not
lose-
going to lose anything.
If you find out tomorrow that you're an unessential
Employee.
call me, and I will help you find a job.
Well, we've got plenty available here in Oconee County. And then don't forget, Project Iron Man is slated to be voted on for the fee of lieu tax agreement, whatever Project Iron Man is. All right, Chris Ruin.
Okay. So I think it was a great show, and I really appreciate our friends tuning in. Just one thing, this Jeff's helping me with my equipment, my camera and everything, and then I'm going to schedule my first interview is going to be with a domestic violence survivor, and then I'll have some more that I'll do, and then we'll release them. And really want to thank people for, especially Jeff, for helping me with this. Last but not least is I want to shout out to my wife because I was bugging her all day to watch the show.
Is she doing okay?
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. She fell yesterday and she broke 2 ribs. She's visiting my daughter. Abby's been taking care of her, and Gladys is in pain. They went to the emergency room. They said, hey, you know what? Thank God it wasn't a really severe break where it could do some internal damage, but hopefully she'll be back home this week. And I want to say I love her, and I appreciate the support of both of them, and watching the show on my son. And everybody, I can't begin. We're almost coming up to a year.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, when we have this show, I can truly tell you, there's nothing more I enjoy than being able to talk to you people every single week. Thank you very much.
Well, you're more than welcome. All right, that's going to do it. Approval of to end this chapter and move to next week. Are we going to be back Sunday night at 7? I'm all for that one.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Sunday night.
Okay, Sunday night. All right, we'll do that. 7 o'clock this coming Sunday. We will be back here with another edition. We'll have a follow-up from what happens tomorrow night. And Morgan, you're right. We are coming up on a 1-year anniversary. And just remember, there was folks that said this show wouldn't last one day. Boy, did we fool the crap out of them.
Well, wait a minute. We only have 4 listeners.
Yeah.
I forgot the 4 listeners. Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
podcast made it a lot more than 2.
How about all that equipment that was invested?
I will pay a penny on every dollar that was spent for that equipment if they'll bring it forward.
That's money well spent. Good night, wherever you are, Purry. Thank you so much for being a part of our show. We love you. All right. See y'all next week, 7 o'clock Sunday here on Let's Talk OCODSC. Have a good evening, everybody.
Dude, you bad. That's what he is.
I be walking Central Park, singing after dark.